Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss how Suella Braverman seems to have completely obliterated what chance she had of becoming Conservative leader, and people are joking she's probably more likely to just join Reform UK at some point. But before I get on to how one potential future leader seems to have completely blown it, I must just mention the new shadow cabinet that Rishi Sunak has appointed to make a couple of points. I'll pick out a good thing and a bad thing. So first of all, Sunak has had to appoint a member of the House of Lords to be the shadow Welsh secretary. Reason? Because the Tories have got no MPs in Wales right now. Well done, Wales. But the shadow transport secretary is Helen Whately, an MP who exposed herself multiple times, not in that way, multiple times over the last parliament as being utterly useless whenever put to the test. And yet you look at the results and you go, oh, people did not vote tactically there. She should have gone. She was not far off. Only needed a little bit of tactical vote and she was gone. Bad Kent, or at least that part of Kent. Stop voting for idiots and then complaining your county's been screwed over. But anyway, on to the next leader and how it's really not looking like Suella Braverman, is going to be in with a shot. Now, people who followed me for a while will know I've cast doubts on Braverman's ability to become Conservative leader for a time. I don't doubt for a second that she would stand a really good chance of being voted in by the members. Give the party members a choice between two candidates and they can usually be relied upon to pick the craziest option until they're sick of losing elections anyway. But right now, there is nothing to stop the Conservatives thinking they can win the next election. And it's not entirely delusional. They've put a lot of work into salting the earth for Labour. If they smarten up their image, start to pay attention to voters again, present a narrative that, oh yeah, you got those improvements. Actually, that was us. We put that in place. This is what we promised would happen if you just voted for us. In fact, it's not even as good because actually Labour have completely ruined it. It was going to be way better. Oh, why aren't the roads paved with gold? That was a plan of ours. That was going to happen. Oh, it's not actually happened. Yeah, that's your fault. They can always be reliably backed up by the mainstream media. Even the media not aligned with the Tories will help by going, oh, this progress not very good, is it? It could be better. And we do not yet know how effective Labour will be at communicating with the public and government. They weren't very good in opposition. They were about good enough in the end, but, wasn't brilliant. They may be better or not in government. That remains to be seen. So Conservative MPs and members have reason to suppose, look, we're in a hole, but it is possible to come back. After all, Labour were in a hole after the last election and came back straight away. Why wouldn't they think they can do the same? Labour suffered their worst defeat in their modern form, went on to get their second best ever result in a single parliament. Tories could absolutely do the same, or at least they will think they can do the same. I don't think they will, but the possibility exists. So they'll have to work on that basis. But a big part of it is picking the right leader. And the Tories will be in that cycle of thinking that the best leader is the one who most aligns with their politics, not the one who most aligns with the public. So absolutely, you put Suella Braverman on a ballot paper. I think there's an excellent chance the members vote for her. I just don't see her getting onto the ballot. I've said before, she's actually annoyed Conservatives even on the far right, and she's got no support within other factions. In fact, there's some research just out today suggesting that the balance of factions, do you know what? It's about the same as it was in the last parliament. Now, if this is correct, and I always take these things with a pinch of salt because there seems to be a heavy dose of subjectivity to it, it suggests that the far right have not improved their balance of power at all with this election. So Braverman, already only having limited support amongst her clique on the far right and publicly hostile to the rest of the party, which is now just as powerful as it was before, proportionally speaking. I mean, Kemi Badenoch, bizarrely, I don't know how this happened, she has supporters on the Liberal wing of the Conservative Party as well as the far right. Robert Jenrick has emerged as a much more palatable version of Braverman, and he's definitely going for the leadership. And Braverman's just been to America. She gave a talk to the National Conservatism Conference in which she really thought she was going to have a tilt at this leadership contest, but she's surely just burned her bridges there. She used her speech to attack people in her own party. She was particularly singling out Tories who supported LGBT groups. She complained about the fact she couldn't get a pride flag taken down from the building she was supposed to be in charge of. And she made a point of saying, this wasn't because of the blob, which is what they call the civil servants these days. No, this was Tory politicians. And she really went for it as well. Properly laid it on thick. She described her own parliamentary colleagues as leaving her physically repulsed. That was her words. I'm sure the feeling was mutual, Suella, but what a mad thing to say in public if you want to lead the party. She's fighting a war, not against Labour, against her own party. This is not the speech of someone who wants to unite the Conservatives and lead them to victory in the next election. This is the speech of someone who wants to burn the party down and rule the ashes. It's the sort of rhetoric that makes it impossible for even Tories who agree with her on policy to support her as leader. As I've mentioned before, the Conservatives have now got 121 MPs. Sunak's replacement will get 1 year as leader as normal, and then they're vulnerable to challenge. The party rules state 15% of MPs call a confidence vote in the leader. That means 19 MPs. And if you're thinking, well, you're all still proportionally the same, Phil, same as in any parliament, no, because more of the crazies kept their seats than the stable ones. So although the balance of factions appears to be the same, because you stuff the crazy, and when I say crazy, I don't just necessarily mean the far right here. I mean, should we say the uncompromising ones, the ones where it's got to be absolutely perfect, they tend to be stuffed in the safest seats because they tend to struggle winning marginals. So whoever takes over the party has got a serious problem with rebels, more serious than Sunak ever did. And he seemed to have a problem with them every day, or at least behaved as if he did. I would argue he's probably a little bit paranoid about it. But 19 MPs to trigger a confidence vote. And even if you win, it's an unwelcome distraction that just shows the public the party are still not fit to govern. If they cannot even get behind their leader for a full parliament, they're not really stable enough to lead the country. Conservative MPs, if they want to recover, need someone who can claim to unite the party. Now, whether anyone can is another matter. I suspect not right now, but they must at least be able to credibly claim they can try. The idea of someone putting themselves forward who, even now, is making an enemy of her own colleagues utterly ludicrous. The far right have got options for people to back. They've got Badnoch, Jenrick, Patel. If they back Braverman and she becomes leader, they'll just be thinking to themselves, right, well, she's got a year and then it'll be straight into a confidence vote. So it seems incredibly unlikely that Braverman will be offered as a choice to party members. In theory, she could carry on sulking on the back benches and have another tilt when the actual replacement fails. But if that's in a few years' time and Labour have largely dealt with the visible signs of the only thing she bangs on about, because I'll be honest, I'm not actually sure what her politics is. She's very anti-people. That's her politics. Anti-people. Whether it be anti-LGBTQ+, whether it be anti-immigration, anti-woke, just anti-people. That's her policy. I actually don't know what her economic policies are. I don't know what her policies on anything really are. I can guess because of the company she keeps. I don't really know because she spends no time talking about them. So if Labour remove a lot of the visible signs that allow people to divide communities, what's she got left? I mean, what has she got left? She'll have no appeal. In fact, her behaviour has been so insane. Part of me even wonders if she has the ambition to lead her party. Maybe she just wants to enjoy being a leading light amongst the international loonies for a bit, which is why straight after the election she headed straight to America. Maybe she just recognises the next leader is going to be drinking from a poisoned chalice anyway. Maybe she hopes to lead later on, maybe when the shine's taken off the Labour government. But we know that Braverman she's not just crazy, she is genuinely incompetent as well. So I wouldn't trust her to be seeing things with any degree of clarity. She's no better at politics than Sunak. She's just got more conviction. But she's really clueless. So she may genuinely think her purist crusade is exactly what the Conservative Party's crying out for. She may be as surprised as anyone when they turn around and go, no, we don't want this sort of behaviour. Because, despite the fact, every party, whenever a party suffers a heavy defeat, or is even just in trouble, what's the first thing they call for? Unity. Because anyone with a glimmer of political understanding knows that the public recognise that a party that is not united within itself is not going to be focused on the job of running the country. And the Conservatives have got real problems coming back from this. I said they could rebuild, but the task is very difficult. But I'll discuss that in another video, maybe tomorrow. For now, I think it's safe to say whoever the Tories pick from what looks like a pretty threadbare list of options to lead them later this year, I don't think it's going to be Suella Braverman. In fact, I even wonder after behaviour like this, behaviour that's likely to continue, because I've said for a long time, she is a loose cannon. She is a loose cannon. I wonder if she'd even be included in the shadow cabinet with the way she's carrying on. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for further content and click the like button. You can also sign up for memberships if you'd like to support the channel further. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.